All right. Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. Wanted to hop on here real quick because I've got some important thoughts to share, especially concerning the LibertySwap edition and what it means, what it could mean for us, and not just us, but a lot of other people as the bull market progresses. At about 8:30 this morning, we were directly listed as a swap option on LibertySwap.finance. LibertySwap.finance is a third-party swap option where you can connect your third-party wallet. They use Coinbase Wallet, they use MetaMask, a bunch of other options. You can even connect through another service, your Zelle or your Venmo wallet, and swap into a whole bunch of assets on Pulse Chain directly from USDC. Right now, the maximum that they're allowing you to swap in for USDC is 15,000 in a single transaction. And the reason why this is important is because up to this point, it has been a process to get people step by step into a position where they could swap into CVRE or any other token on Pulse Chain for that matter. And that's useful. That's useful for us to make it more convenient. It's useful for the rest of the chain. But there's something more important here than just the convenience to the user that I want to point out to mostly to us who are holding CVRE, but it matters to everyone else too. As the bull market progresses, we're going to get to a point where at the top of the market, people are not going to want to believe. They're not going to want to believe that it is the end. They are going to want to believe that the bull market will go on forever. And every single cycle, people see green candles. They naturally want to get more excited and throw more money at it. And towards the end of the cycle, typically the cycle ends with the smallest assets seeing the highest returns, and those assets forming a bubble at the end of a blockchain. And then those assets getting a ton of money at the end, and eventually that bubble popping and people fleeing to stable assets and fleeing to the exits. LibertySwap is going to provide us an off-ramp that will give us a giant pool of USDC stablecoin in the multiple millions of dollars, which we will be able to swap into and get stable currency towards the end of the bull market. Now, we can't count on anybody else in crypto solving our problems for us, because just in me saying that they're going to provide an off-ramp and they're going to have millions of dollars of USDC at the end, they also could hold us hostage in the very same way. So you would have to trust that swapping into or through them at the end of the bull market would actually be possible. So you have to keep this in mind as we get towards the end of the cycle, and perhaps plan to dollar cost average out as it becomes appropriate for you to do so, as you believe that it's appropriate for you to do so throughout the entire bull market. And I can't make that judgment for you. You need to think through where you are rationally in the market, take a step back, moderate your emotions, and look at what's going on. But let me highlight a couple of points for you right now that I think will help you feel better. In the last week, we saw a big pullback. We have not seen a multi-billion-dollar fraud yet in crypto this cycle. We have not seen Coinbase as the #1 listing in the App Store yet. We have not seen celebrities do a token launch in a single day and then dump it the next day yet this cycle. There are a whole bunch of top signals that have not yet occurred that we would expect to see at the top of a cycle. Something like a multi-billion-dollar ICO or a raise that could occur towards the end. Haven't seen any of that yet. In addition, we know that we've got a marketing plan coming from Pulse Chain itself that will likely start within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And people will actually be getting some kind of physical item in the mail that we don't really know what it is yet, but likely it will create some hype around the blockchain itself. And to my knowledge, something like this has never been done in the space before. So do we have some runway yet? Yes, we've got runway to go. I don't know how much runway it is, but if I was to guess, I think we've got till at least October, November, December. I would be, on my part, if it was me looking at the market for the very first time, very first cycle, I would be trying to get as much of a position now as I could. So I had the ability to take some off if I saw, that there were signs that everything was going to end soon. And I would also learn how to use off ramps as they become available so that I felt comfortable with the technology if I wanted to exit, when I wanted to exit, when that time came. All right. LibertySwap, in addition to providing us a ton of USDC, is also going to provide a privacy solution. And for a whole bunch of reasons, I'm not going to discuss on a live video all of the reasons why you should care about a privacy solution, but you should go research Railgun and you should go research why crypto people care so much about privacy solutions. I'll talk a little bit more about what the globalization of finance does in a couple of minutes, but it's important that you understand what privacy solutions could do for you personally, regardless of where you are in the world, regardless of your financial situation, and regardless of how much money you make this cycle. You should care about privacy for a variety of reasons, whether or not you are in crypto and whether or not you make a lot of money. Privacy matters and should matter to everybody involved. All right. We were among the very first tokens listed on LibertySwap.finance, and there's a reason for that. We are pursuing an RWA solution. We are not the first token in the country, probably, to tokenize real estate. I think Vlad Tenev on Robinhood will probably beat us to market with a mass market solution for tokenization of real estate. But I want to point out something about the difference between Vlad Tenev at Robinhood and us and why you should care. Vlad Tenev at Robinhood, if he rolls out a giant tokenization project for real estate that basically allows the average user to go onto a website, look at the stats for a property, receive some kind of token yield, whether it's based in US dollar APY or based in yield from a native token of Robinhood. The reason why that is a different product than what we would be creating is because Robinhood is trying to get a mass market solution that monetizes volume and a large number of people involved that care about convenience more than they care about community. What we have the ability to do, and what many entrepreneurs like me are about to do just about everywhere in the world, is as crypto software becomes easier to create and easier to use, a whole bunch of people all around the world are suddenly realizing that they have specialized knowledge and the ability to arbitrage that knowledge in the crypto space for the purposes of raising capital or connecting markets cross-jurisdictionally, across currencies, across time zones, 24/7, 365, across languages, especially if you speak multiple languages, especially if you could sell a product or service across audiences, across time zones, across countries. There's so much opportunity in the space if you have a market, an audience, a reputation, or the ability to grow that I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that the community growth aspect of a crypto project is going to create tons and tons and tons of opportunity for what previously would have had to have been a localized entrepreneur in a single city somewhere in the United States or somewhere in another country somewhere else. I would have previously have had no access to someone who cared about what I cared about in Atlanta or Tampa or Washington, D.C., or somewhere else across the world or in another time zone. That is what crypto is going to allow entrepreneurs to do all at the same time and drastically change the way we do business. And that is why the US government is getting involved and is in a race with other world governments to lead the way in financial regulation. They don't have a choice. By the end of this cycle, just our token community could very possibly have the ability locally, just in my market, to do hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate purchases just in my market. That is not overhype. That is not a joke. That is reality based in math, based on the liquidity that we are tied to and the way crypto works. I've seen it happen in the past with coins of similar size. I can benchmark it to what's happened in similar cycles. There is nothing hypish about that. If we grow an audience, and if we do this the right way, and if we are able to accomplish what I think we can accomplish, it is very, very possible that we would be going from like a little guppy player in a city to a major player in a city in a matter of 6 months to a year. There is no other industry where that can occur except crypto. And that's incredibly rare to do. So now think about this. If you then incorporate privacy solutions and online payment systems that keep your money in crypto, but still allow you to make goods and services purchases to run your life, whether that's housed overseas or in the crypto space still, governments have no control over your currency. And it gets very, very interesting from there. How does a government enforce taxation if you have an off-ramp somewhere else? That is why the US government is leading the way, because they want to encourage you to participate legally in the US system. This is going to happen very, very quickly. I believe we are witnessing an arms race in the crypto space between the US and China. And I think we are witnessing the largest transfer of wealth in my age group that we will probably witness in this entire generation. And it's based on the fact that I can connect with someone just about anywhere on earth and create an audience and raise capital with them. Think about that for a while. Think about what you could use this technology for if you could create an audience, tokenize a project, and maybe I could help you with it. Something to think about. All right. We are moving into a system where we are integrating globally, sharing across borders, across jurisdictions, time zones, types of currencies. And pretty soon, we're going to be able to do business with each other completely outside of government control, if we wanted to. Think about that. Think about what that means for the future. You are witnessing something really special. I'm excited that you're here with us. We are going to do what we're doing legally within the bounds of US law. And we're excited to update you on that process as it moves forward. But those are the things that are at play here. And I encourage you to open up your eyes and your thinking and really try to understand that you are witnessing a revolution, a financial revolution in the way things are going to be done, not just in the United States, but across the entire earth for a bunch of entrepreneurs that know absolutely nothing about crypto, know absolutely nothing about software, but know their businesses really, really well. That's where we're going. Okay. Have a great Sunday. Talk about CVRE. Put people in if they're interested. Help them get onboarded. It's never been easier. Thanks for your support. Bye.